Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Spotlight with Sandalina, and I'm your talk show host, Sandalina Sitar. Today's very special guest is Faris, who is a Pakistani rapper. You may recognize him from the viral Zayn Malik Lookalike contest or his collaborations with various artists. He also just did, last year alone, over 2 million streams on Spotify. Also, he happens to be my cousin, just a side note. We're gonna go ahead and get started with the first segment of today's episode, which is the 5-minute life story segment. So we already had Faris as a guest on season 1 of our show, so we've heard the full hour-long version. So we're just gonna get a high-level overview because a lot has happened since we filmed back in 2023. Tell us a little bit about your upbringing. So I know you grew up in Austin, but tell us a little bit more about that.
Good parents, good family, good friends. I'm blessed, honestly. Cousins, all right.
Thanks.
No, it was cool. Yeah, I mean, I went to just normal public school. I went to college in Texas, in Dallas, actually. Studied computer science, tech. So, I mean, literally blueprint, just upbringing right here.
Classic brown boy.
Yeah, for real.
So Austin is known for its music. So tell us a little bit more about your interaction with the music scene growing up, if any.
They're kind of more known for, like, indie and jazz and, like, blues and other stuff. So, but it's kind of cool to see, like, the diversity and the way people value music. But yeah, growing up, ACL, South by Southwest were big parts of like my musical upbringing, I would say. So
tell me a little bit more about the demographics in Austin.
It's pretty diverse, honestly. I see every type of person, race, age, like they got everybody. And I think that just adds to like the melting potness of the city. Like it's just like everyone has different interests, so it's kind of like there's something for everybody. And it's just kind of nice. Like every show I do is like very diverse. You'll see all types of people, so it's cool. I like it.
And I feel like Austin also has a very strong Desi community and a very strong Muslim community within that. So tell me about how that sort of influenced your upbringing.
That's just been nice just to have like the community of like South Asian or Muslim community people that like you kind of grow up with. It's just nice to have people who kind of share the same values and kind of upbringings and just kind of culture, tradition. You just kind of do things together. Yeah, no, it's nice.
No, it's definitely, I know it's a huge part of the environment that you had growing up. So I think that's really special because I think it comes through too in sort of the music that you make. There's some songs where you sort of talk about that identity in some ways, which we'll get into later in the episode too. Tell me about your parents and siblings.
All right. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I have a little brother. It's just us two, and then 2 very supportive parents. Bringing it up to different, all the aunties, uncles type. And they're all, the whole Austin community is very supportive.
All the aunties love him, the Austin aunties.
I'm very lucky. But yeah, I mean, I've always been there for me. They kind of have always let me put my future, my fate into my own hands a little bit.
Yeah.
They'll be like, try this. I mean, they didn't tell me you got to do this, major in this in college. Like, I mean, it's just kind of a make good decisions type of atmosphere and then take it from there.
No, I 100% agree. And I think that it's really important. So for context, our dads are brothers. So there's a lot of similarities in sort of the upbringing and the value systems that we had.
Guest.
And yeah, it's a really special thing because I feel like in both of our families, we have been very privileged to not be have career paths shoved down our throats. Obviously, there's like communal pressures to, be a certain way, but I don't think it ever came from our parents for either of us. And I think that explains a lot behind, sort of the confidence that we get to carry in the creator space, especially you.
Yeah, now we both like do this.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy.
And it's nice. Everybody's parents are all supportive of one another. And I recognize that that's like a very big privilege because a lot of artists that have sat down in this exact seat that you're in have shared tales where it's kind of been, it's like pulling teeth to have that conversation. And also not having that parental support, as much as people don't want to admit it, it really impacts you like deeply psychologically.
Oh, yeah. I'd be a mess, bro. I'd be like, damn, my parents aren't even like happy. Like they're upset when I'm pursuing this. Like I'd be torn.
Yeah, it would be really big cognitive dissonance and a really big leap to take. So that's really important. And you also have a younger brother.
Yep. I do.
So you are the older brother?
I am.
Are you the more responsible one? I actually don't think so between the two of them.
No, because he's like super responsible. He's not even like average. He's like extra responsible, so I can't compete.
It's funny because if I met you two and didn't have any context, I would probably think he's older, actually.
Bruh.
Just based on that.
No way.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
look way older. We should put him in here in
Yeah,
a side
yeah,
by side.
we'll put him-
I would
we'll put
love to hear what y'all think. Put the pictures up and tell me who's
Yeah,
older.
we'll let the people decide in the comments.
Please.
That's so funny. And you have some really big milestones, right? So you performed at South by Southwest. You just performed this weekend at Masala Mixtape. You went viral for being in the Zayn Lookalike contest in New York City, which we'll talk about. That was a funny one. And you've had some really big collaborations with artists like Kid Travis and RMS. And you just last year alone hit over 2 million streams on Spotify, right? So tell me a little bit about your path to music and how that all started.
Damn, I mean, path to music, I've always just kind of been around it, like myself. Like I grew up playing guitar, always been super into music, listening to music, playing music. I would say the rapping came later.
Okay.
I feel like in high school, every brown boy hits that like moment.
Yeah.
Where they create the SoundCloud account.
The character development.
What do they call it? A canon event? I mean, I was honestly just like a fan of the genre, like super heavy, and just like kind of the writing, I think really drew me in, and the storytelling and just the wordplay. And I mean, I just kind of fell in love in high school and college, and COVID hit like right when I graduated. And yeah, it's kind of a COVID baby. I just kind of was like, I've always wanted to get into this. Let me just try to full send it as much as I can. So I started, and then, yeah, I mean, those like milestones you mentioned just come with like weeks and months and years building on top of each other, and day after day, you kind of like some days look like nothing or you feel like nothing's happening, and then some days like something, a huge blessing comes your way. So it's just kind of like over time you accumulate like those moments.
Yeah, no, and the trajectory has been really nice to just watch and cheer on. I remember when that first song Presidential came out, I remember listening to it on repeat, and I was like, I can't believe this is happening. This is amazing. So to see all that growth, it's been an honor. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next segment for today's episode, which is the hot seat segment. So you're just going to answer the first thing that comes to your mind, just rapid fire, okay? Ready?
No.
New York City or Austin?
New York City.
Would you ever move here?
Yeah, I'd be down. I'm here like I feel like half of my life, like half of the year anyways.
My
like,
couch has your name on it at this point.
I'd be in and out the city a lot.
Favorite New York City borough?
Manhattan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brooklyn's cool too, though.
Yeah, I feel like you've been frequenting Brooklyn a little bit more recently.
Yeah, Brooklyn's chill. I mean, even yesterday, the event, Masala Mixtape was at Brooklyn.
Monarch.
That was a good time. Manhattan's just, I mean, vibes. It's just happening.
It's the heartbeat of the city. It's where everything happens.
You feel it.
If you and Zayn Malik switched lives for a day, what's the first thing you would do?
It's crazy. I mean, I would just walk around singing angelically. Like, I'd be hitting high notes left and right. I'd have a lot of money too, right? I would just be living my best life, bro. Traveling.
Would you go back for Gigi?
I mean, I'd have a kid with her, right? I got a kid to raise, actually.
Yeah, you got a kid.
I got responsibilities, actually, if we switch lives. Maybe I'm just walking around like, yo, like I was in One Direction, bro. Like, just to random people.
That would go a long way with the fangirls that are probably in, their 20s now. So would you rather be known as a Zayn Malik lookalike forever or never make music again?
Bro.
Yeah, I know. It's
I mean, I can't stop making music, so I'd have to be known.
Okay, known as Zayn lookalike. It's not a bad. There's worse things to be known for. Yeah, that's actually a great thing to be known for. What is your immigrant parents' advice on being in the public eye?
Don't make us look bad. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know, actually. That's they kind of just let me do my thing. I think they trust that I won't say anything super dumb, which on their part, I don't know.
So
it's maybe a little too much trust. But yeah, they just kind of let me be myself, and I think they enjoy every time something like this happens, or a show or an interview. So
nice. Yeah. Who are some of your mentors in the space?
I'll Be the Nomad is also in Austin, and kind of in like a similar lane that like I make music in sometimes. So he has been super helpful, even with just like production. He'll like send beats, or he'll like be like, "Oh, let me fix these drums. Let me mix this better." Like he helps out a lot for sure. He actually did Masala Mixtape, I think, a few years ago.
Yes,
So
he did.
he always has good pointers. Jackie Venson is someone who kind of, she's not in the rap scene, but she's been doing music a long time. She's done like every big show out there. So
Nice.
having her tips is also fire.
Nice. What is the best advice you've received in this space?
Nothing, bro. Nobody tells me anything. I'm just kidding. Nah, people tell me. I don't know, bro. The thing is, no. Here's the thing. When you do this, you just get a lot of unsolicited advice.
Oh yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
it's just
yeah.
24/7 advice from anybody, from the guy down the corner, the freaking homeless dude at the bodega, from a guy who's been doing music 30 years. I don't care if you won a Grammy or you've never even heard a song before. Everyone has something to say.
Everybody feels entitled to.
So like,
yeah.
I just get so much like, do this, try this, try that. Like sometimes it's, I don't know, dude. I don't have a filter. It's just in one ear, out the other sometimes, because it's just so much.
Yeah.
Everyone has something to say.
Finish this sentence. Being a brown boy in music is like
being like a white NBA player or something. I mean, like...
no elaboration needed. I get it.
It's cool. Like, you definitely come in with a little bit of, like, a chip on your shoulder.
For
like,
sure.
People may not expect it as much, or they have kind of whatever preconceived notions. But then I think when you do, or if you do prove yourself, like, it holds weight, so...
Yeah. There's a lot of truth to that. Tell me about a pinch me moment that you've had.
I think that South by Southwest show, honestly, did a lot for just kind of my internal, like, how I was feeling at the time with, like, everything.
Yeah.
And just kind of hearing that crowd even sing some of those songs, or, like, yelling my name, and just kind of, like, being really there and present in that moment. I was, like, it was, like, euphoric. I mean.
What's the craziest DM you've gotten?
I mean, after the Zayn stuff, it was just a lot of crazy DMs.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
For the sake of our ears. If you could write a diss track aimed at one group of people forever, who would it be?
Finance bros. I'm sorry. Y'all gotta catch a stray.
If you could have dinner with anyone from any time period, who would it be?
Thomas Edison.
Why?
I want to hear about the light bulb, like, thought process. Bro, look at all these lights we have here now. It is such a, like, integral part of our life, and he cooked so heavy with that.
Dude.
And I've never thought about that before, but, like, just in this moment, that is my answer.
Wow. I would have expected, like, J. Cole. Or
I mean,
like,
yeah, that would be probably more beneficial.
If you weren't making music, what would you be doing?
Living the dream, working up the corporate ladder. I've always been kind of into, like, film or, like, just something creative. I just think it's, like, fun. Anything that involves cameras or a microphone.
Yeah.
It sounds super, like, attention driven, but, like, it's just like fascinating to me, and it's just like I like how it all works. And or like I was saying, like, comedy I think is fun.
Yeah, we love stand-up comedians on this show. We've had quite a few on. I really also, resonate with that. I think the social commentary element is really nice in terms of the way that stand-up comedians see the world. And it really forces you to stop and think for a second. All right, so we're gonna move on to the third segment for today's episode, which is the shadow segment. We talk about the topics that maybe aren't blasted on social media all the time, that sometimes are a little bit more nuanced, deeper, difficult to talk about. The first thing I wanna talk about is the Zayn Malik Lookalike competition, right? You know, it's after something like that, I feel like the dynamics with women that have witnessed you in sort of that setting can get kind of, high in volume. And it can kind of be overwhelming. It can be a little bit disillusioning. How have you stayed grounded in the midst of all this sort of excessive female attention everywhere you go?
I just kind of, like, take it for what it is. I think I always looked at it like it was never super serious or anything. And I just kind of, people sending me, like, TikToks of myself, and from, like, not, like, I mean, this happened in New York, and from, like, all over the country, or, like, my cousins in, like, Pakistan were, like, sending this to me. So it was trippy for sure. And kind of the first time you see, like, an excessive amount of, like, stranger comments about you, whether good or bad. So it's a experience for sure, but like I just take it for what it is.
One thing that I've noticed personally, just seeing you through your journey, is there's a lot of humility ingrained with sort of all of this stuff, and I think that that's important because there are a lot of people in entertainment that completely go off the rocker. I think as soon as they start getting a lick of opposite gender attention, they
Soon.
start like
Manifesting. 2026.
Inshallah, you go off the rocker too. So tell me about your experience with comparison traps, if any, and how you sort of navigate that.
Yeah, I think it's super common for artists early in their journey to kind of look at it like, why is this person getting opportunities? Like, why aren't I doing that? Or I see this person doing this, and maybe like I've been doing this for 10 years, and this person just started last year. They're doing this, and that. So that's part of that is just human nature, I think. What I learned is that it's just like a huge ladder. Like, you take someone in my position, like there's someone that I look up to who is doing cool shows and venues and collaborations, and I'm like, oh, like I would love to do that. Then there's someone kind of almost like below me in that imaginary ladder, like I would love to do those shows or their collaborations. And there's someone below him who's been doing music, like who's newer at it and newer, and someone's been doing it longer. Like it's just one big chain of like looking up to someone and being looked up to at the same time. And I think that goes for everything. Like you do this show and maybe there's someone who's been, I mean, you look up to people who have maybe been doing a show for like 10 years or they've gone it to like a really huge spot. And then there's someone who just started and it's like, I want to make it like this show. So it's just kind of this like huge ladder that I think people should zoom out and like look at that bigger picture is how I see it.
And with that, there also comes the fear of perception, judgment, the way that other people are receiving your art. Did you have any hesitations or fears with that starting out? Do you still? How do you navigate that? Tell me about that.
Like, I just have to pretend that that doesn't exist for me to like
Sure.
put myself out there. And I can't say it's ever really 100% gone away, which I don't think I can expect it to. Like, you kind of know that when you put yourself out there, like, I mean, people you know, for high school, call like everyone you've met, like someone is gonna see it, family, extended family, whatever, like it's gonna get seen.
Now we're gonna move on to the spotlight segment for this episode. And the headline for today's episode is Brown Boy Looks Like Zayn, Raps Like Himself. So you broke the internet and went viral for the Zayn Malik Lookalike competition.
Broke the internet, maybe a stretch. I broke my family WhatsApp groups and my DMs and my text groups.
What exactly happened? I'm happy to fill in some gaps, by the way, because I was there filming all of the content. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd been in New York for a little bit. I was making music that week. I was making, I think it was MEMO with RMS that dropped recently. You should stream that if you haven't already.
Good song, really good song.
So just hanging out, and the lookalike contests were kind of like blowing up in general. Like at that
Timothy
time,
Chalamet era.
yeah, there was like a lot. This has kind of been a meme since like college. Like this is like with my friends or people I went to like high school with. Like it's just kind of a meme. So like when this came up, and I was in New York, like a lot of people were texting me. I think you were telling me.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people were just like,
My friends were texting me, by the way, that I'd met Forrest once or 0 times. I've seen him on my social media. They were texting me, telling me to tell him to go to this.
No, I just thought that like it was cool, like get there whatever time, it's casual, just pull up, vibe, whatever. But I was mistaken. I got there, was like already done. Everyone had zaned up. Met a ton of people. It was cool. Like I met a lot of cool people. I think people I'm still in contact with to this day.
Yeah, I'm sure it opened some doors.
Like people who just do random stuff or photography or this and that. And then yeah, I got in my Uber and people were sending me TikToks before I had even left the place. And I was like, y'all are quick. One
by one, heads start turning. One at a time. I remember there's one couple was walking by and then the girl taps the guy and she goes, oh, starts pointing. And I was like, okay, we're going the right way. And then one head, the next head, and then all of a sudden it was like a sea that like literally parted ways. It was literally like the sea had parted and he just walked through. It was just the most absurd.
They were like mad at me. They were like, where were you? Like, we needed you 30 minutes ago, an hour ago. Like, what are you doing just getting here?
Yeah, so it was really sweet. And if I recall correctly, because the competition was already over, somebody that had won the contest had seen him and just sort of put it on your neck, right? And just said, this one's for you, which is really sweet, by the way.
Yeah, no, they already had like their winners, like, and those guys,
Yeah.
They looked like him, but they just kind of were super generous and I guess handing me like a medal, which is a nice
That's really sweet
gesture.
We call it the People's Choice Award. At least I call it that, the People's Choice that day,
It's a cool name.
because he literally blew up for like the next for a little bit afterwards, honestly. But no, it's really great. It was such a fun, organic thing, and it really put you on the map, I think, in a lot of ways. And it's funny because you actually do make music. Like you're also a musician.
I dabble.
So, and you, as we've previewed before, last year alone you hit over 2 million streams on Spotify. The year before that, if I remember correctly, in that year alone you had hit 1 million. So you're aggregating a few million across all the years that you've been doing music at the very least. So how does that feel? I mean, starting from like rookie numbers to that in just a few years.
Yeah, it's cool to like have some sort of data or like tangible metrics that back up like what you're doing. I hate to kind of put all my eggs in like a quantity or like a numbers basket like that. But I can't say I don't like it. Like, of course, it's a good feeling and people see that. And I mean, we live in a world where like you almost kind of need that a little bit to have some validity in people's eyes. So like, I don't like that that's how it is, but that's how it is. So like people will see that and kind of look at me maybe a little bit more seriously, or I may get more opportunities. So it's cool for that. And obviously something I want to keep growing over the years.
Yeah. No, that's really exciting. It's definitely just a testament to the fact that your music is reaching people, and they actually like it because they'll listen to it more than once, clearly. So that's great. So we've talked about this a little bit too, but you performed at South by Southwest, which, is a big full circle moment growing up in Austin, going to South by Southwest, as a teenager, being a performer there just a few years later that's crazy. Tell me a little bit about how that came to be and what it was like.
Yeah, I mean, just from going from attending a festival like South by Southwest, like all throughout high school, maybe even like younger than that, and just seeing like my favorite artists there. Like I remember like Dreamville made its way out there. I remember like peak DJ Khaled Snapchat era was like he was out there. Like I'm in his like story like like it was a time. So South by back in the day was a time, and I mean like Nas, like so many rappers that like I obviously admire. Growing up to see them all there, and then kind of working at this craft myself, getting the opportunity to perform there myself was obviously an honor. And something, I mean, I think just for full transparency purposes, like I had been trying like my first few years of making music, like these things come with like you don't get the things you want every year. So like, I think I applied last year too. I didn't get it. Then I got it for like the 2025. So I think it also taught me to just trust the process, as cliche as that may be, but it's like, it really is true, I think. Like, if I just given up after the first time I didn't get it, like, I wouldn't have gotten here.
Yeah.
So, and then, finally getting here and doing the show and seeing the crowd's reaction, I think was super rewarding and super motivating that I can keep going in this, so. Yeah.
And it seemed like the area that you were performing in was packed out for you. It felt like, so many people had come to show up, people that you knew, but also people that you didn't know. If I remember correctly, there was somebody was there a former Bachelor from like the Bachelor franchise that was in the audience?
Someone told me that.
Should we hope to see you at future South by Southwest, or is that in the cards?
I hope so, Mr. South by Southwest. Please have me back.
That's great. And then you also just performed at Masala Mixtape this past weekend, which is when we're filming this. So tell me a little bit about how that came to be, because like you mentioned, one of your mentors, Ubby, was also on that stage, just a couple years back and kind of, following in stride. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I was very fortunate to link up with RMS, who was already on the bill, and kind of just build like a cool relationship with him and put out a song with him and a ton of content for that song that people really enjoyed. So that kind of happening all in the last few months definitely helped a lot. And then kind of also like knowing some of the organizers behind everything and building that relationship with them as well was has been cool. And so them kind of just asking me like, yo, if you want to like pop out for the song y'all have together, Memo. RMS was like, yeah, like if you want to pop out, like I would love to have you. So I was like, I'm down. I mean, I think it's a fire song, especially to perform live. So I was all about it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And just witnessing the energy live when they were doing that song, I mean, it was amazing. You guys have such good chemistry on stage, and that comes through in the content that you two have put out together too, in the reels that you guys have done for promo. The videography also looked really, really nice, by the way.
Yeah.
So every angle of it was just pristine, in my opinion. Tell me a little bit about Memo and that song, that collaboration with RMS. And he's a known artist in the South Asian community. People love him. So tell us about that.
Yeah, I'd known about RMS's music for a little while. I kind of try to tap in with like the other rappers and at least the other South Asian rappers in the space who I can kind of see parallels of my own kind of like career in, and I felt like we have a lot of similarities. So we'd always been like connected on Instagram, and then I'd hit him up for like just a session one day, and it was super chill, super casual, like no pressure. Listen to some beats, freestyle some ideas, whatever came. Just kind of having fun with it, which I think is most important when making music. And then he laid that Memo hook down, and I was like, it's undeniable to me. Like that
So
hook
catchy.
goes, bro. That's
Yeah.
so yeah, and we just kind of built on top of that, and then we're like, all right, song's done. Like let's make videos for it, like a ton of clips, content, TikTok reels, the whole nine. Just kind of full send it, and yeah, now the response has been super super rewarding. Definitely one of the better like responses I've had in a minute, like of just people kind of letting me know that they enjoy the song as much as they do.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's very catchy. I feel like the first few times I heard it, I couldn't get it out of my head. It was just like in the background of my thoughts throughout the day. I was like, oh, did you get the memo? It's a good song.
It's all right.
You've also collaborated with another big artist, Kid Travis. He's not in the South Asian diaspora specifically, but he's sort of a big name when it comes to sort of Western media. So tell me about that collaboration.
Yeah, he was someone I worked with pretty early in my career. I mean, he sings, produces, he does the whole nine for himself, and he is really good. I mean, incredible like vocalist and really good production. And at the time, I was super. I mean, I still am, but into like kind of that bounce, that groovy production. Like he was just so good at it. So I just thought we could really make a fun, catchy song together, and I think we did. It was super early, so like I wouldn't say a lot of people know that song from me, but I think it's like I think it still like hits to this day. Like it still holds up. So yeah, I'd say that was like my first big collab too. So that one's always like kind of special.
Yeah, and his song "Strawberry Skies," I mean,
Oh
it
yeah,
did numbers. Everybody knows
he's got
"Strawberry
bangers.
Skies."
Yeah.
So yeah, that is a huge milestone, especially being so early in your career. That's great. So you have mentioned in other interviews and other conversations we've had the impact that some rappers have had on you growing up. Tell us about who some of those rappers are and the ways in which they've inspired your stylistic choices.
Yeah, I talk about J. Cole a lot just because his storytelling and his kind of vulnerability is, I wouldn't say I'm able to go like as deep as that or anything, but just kind of the sentiment of the music is very honest and very himself. And I feel like I kind of pride myself on being myself. So like if you listen to any of my music, any of my songs, like it's authentic. It's all how I feel or who I really am. Like I don't play a character. I don't say anything that doesn't hold true to me. So I feel like he kind of represents those values. So he's inspired me a lot in that way. And then musically as well, just like the sonics of it, like the production, it's kind of chill. I mean, I can't lie. Anybody who raps would be lying if they said that Drake's cadence or like his ability to fuse melodies and kind of like sticky little hooks that people remember is something I learned or like try to learn from him, because I mean, like him or not, he has been running it for so long.
Yeah.
And he has a catalog of music that people know and like it gets stuck in their heads.
Yeah.
So just kind of like with like hooks and choruses, and like sometimes I want to break into like a melody, or like I want to sing, or I want to be like almost like R&B with it. So that kind of fusion comes from him for sure. I mean, yeah, I would say those are my two favorite artists, honestly.
Yeah, no, definitely agree. I think J. Cole definitely has some really thought-provoking lyrics, and
Cold World.
I've noticed similarities when it comes to your music, and you really enjoy to do sort of like the play on words, like the double entendre or even a triple entendre, if we can get one of those in a lyric. So yeah, you really push those limits and are very witty, I would say, with your lyrics. So that's always fun to watch, especially in like the reels where they pop up with like the little on-screen captions. It's nice to sort of see
Yeah.
see that come through and highlighted. Tell us about the creative process when it comes to writing a song. If you had to throw it into a flow chart from like ideation to release, like what is it and how long does each stage take?
Oh, nice. I mean, step one of that flow chart is I am just existing, like living my life.
Okay.
I'm like, literally, I'm walking down the street, or I'm hanging out with friends, or like something's going on. Like, I'm literally just existing is step one. Cause half the time, like something will happen, or I'll see something, or like I'll read something, and that just like sparks. I don't know. I feel weird describing it because it feels like I'm just like lying, like, oh, it just comes to you. But like I
Oh
really
yeah.
just live my life, and things come to me. Obviously, I sit down and try to like write stuff as well, but a lot of those are kind of, they branch off of things that happen in my just everyday life. So like I have a notes, or like a
Nice.
notes page in
Yeah.
my phone. And I mean, it's just an ongoing running mess of lines and thoughts and bars, and it's probably would put me in a psych ward at this point. Like, it's just so much like crap in there. And then I kind of just like clean some of those things up when I want to like put it into a song. But I would say step one, living. Step two, kind of drawing inspiration from life. And then step three, I'm just like putting things over beats. I like to hear how lines slide over beats. Like, even forget
Ah,
what the words are saying. Like, how does it sound? Like, how
yeah.
does it sound when I say this over this beat? Like, is it pleasing to the ear? Um, and then, I mean, you mentioned the wordplay. Like, I love to bend things like as far like as I can. So like if you take like a subject, or like you take like lights or camera, like go camera, like lens, like picture perfect, like picture's worth 1,000 words, and you just kind of like branch your way into a different topic, and you go, okay, words, like, and you just kind of like create this tree, or it's like a link really of like one idea to the next, but it's all connected.
What's it like walking into a room of musicians and being one of the only South Asians?
It's a double-edged sword. I mean, you get to be unique and stand out and provide perspectives that maybe aren't being presented in that environment, and then it comes with its preconceived notions or assumptions people will have about you, or doubts and negatives. So I always just kind of look at it like it balances out, um cuz you get the benefits and like whatever like drawbacks there are, like you get both truly. So um it used to feel a little weird, and you almost feel like no one can relate as much, but I think it's cool, like being able to kind of almost represent like a culture sometimes. Like when I walk into a room, I'm the only Pakistani there, and now it's in their head like, oh, I know this like Pakistani dude, and he raps real well. So I think it's cool being able to kind of have that impact as well. So I've grown to like it, I think.
One of my favorite songs of yours is the song Taken, Not Given.
Banger.
It draws on some sort of South Asian infused music in the beginning, and it kind of goes into this rap where you have some deeper messages that you're relaying to the audience. You sort of allude to, being the only person in the room that looks like you and sort of being talked about, and then proving them all wrong with that talent. So tell me about the song Taken, Not Given and what it means to you.
I would say that song is kind of me in my peak. Like the lyrics are sharp, the beat goes, the message is there, the substance is there, the overall production. I think that's kind of like one of those that it's one of those songs that how it sounded in my head is how it came out to be. And that's, I mean, that's not the case with every song, to be honest. Like, it's just the reality of it. But yeah, there is kind of that aspect of always having to prove myself and show that I am good at what I do, which I don't inherently think is a bad thing, honestly. I like having to prove myself.
Yeah.
So, and go against whatever assumptions you have.
A lot of mainstream media and entertainment is filled with people that just don't look like us. They're just not South Asian. And that's, that's something that is a work in progress. There are some big names that are working on bridging that gap. But it's really going to take a full generational effort to switch that narrative and break that mold. And it's really inspiring to see creators like you doing just exactly that. Great way to wrap up the episode. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. Been a pleasure as always. First repeat guest or not?
This is my first repeat guest. Yes,
sir.
This is my first repeat guest. You can take the title for that one. You can add that to your resume. Spotlight's first repeat guest.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, thank you for coming on. That's all for today. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Tune back in next Sunday for the next full-length episode. And in the meantime, I'm your talk show host, Salina Sitar, signing off.
Peace.